that there is a key player currently not slated to be in Alaska, and that is the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. Is it possible he will attend?
Yeah, I certainly think it's possible, and it's good to be with you this morning. Certainly there can't be a deal that everybody that's involved in it doesn't agree to. And, obviously it's a high priority to get this war to end. The carnage and the dying is terrible. I think this direct engagement by President Trump obviously is leading us closer to a peace. The two sides have been communicating. They've exchanged prisoners. They've exchanged bodies of the fallen. But if we can get a deal done on terms that both sides agree, that will save thousands of lives. And ultimately, I think that's worth at least seeing if there's a chance to get that done.
You say it is possible that President Zelensky joins Presidents Putin and Trump in Alaska. Where do those discussions stand?
Well, obviously, the decision is going to be made by President Trump. He agreed to meet with President Putin in Alaska on Friday. And if he thinks that is the best scenario to invite Zelensky, then he'll do that. And again, we have, today's Sunday, the meeting's happening on Friday. There's time to make that decision. No decision's been made to this point.
I know that you have seen President Trump suggested that a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine would include, quote, some swapping of territories. But just hours later, the Ukrainian president rejected this idea of a land swap. He said he will not be, quote, gifting any land. Is ceding Ukrainian territory still on the table?
Still on the table.
Both sides, again, are going to have to agree to end this war. And, we've seen it in the past in other contexts where to get a line that both sides can agree to, certain, strategic pieces that benefit either side are exchanged in order to make sure that they can both defend their territory successfully. So, the technical people are talking, which is good news, because those are the ones that are going to say if land and what land would need to be swapped or exchanged. Certainly, I think, I took Zelensky's comments at face value, which is that no big chunks or, sections are going to be just given that haven't been fought for or earned on the battlefield. But I come back to where I started, which is, we need this war to end. We could save thousands of lives with a deal. And I think that by both sides communicating, by President Trump meeting in Alaska on Friday with either one or both of the combatants, I think this is exciting, and I think President Trump's really the only one that could make this happen. He's the sole reason I think this meeting is happening on Friday. He's a peacemaker. He's averaging about a peace deal a month right now. We saw just this week where Armenia and Azerbaijan came together to settle their decades-long conflict. It's been a series of peace deals, and so I think President Trump is best situated to see if a deal can be had and if both sides can agree to ending the slaughter.
You are the ambassador to NATO. NATO has been a very hot topic and much desired for Ukraine for some time. Right now, where the current situation is, President Trump hasn't publicly offered any kind of security assurances or arms sales to Ukraine. Let's just start there. Could that happen in any potential deal?
Remember, a couple of weeks ago, we did agree to sell U.S. armaments, which are the best. And it's one of the reasons that, quite frankly, Vladimir Putin wants the meeting, is because U.S. equipment is now moving to Ukraine, being purchased by our European and Canadian NATO allies. And that's a big step. And obviously, the sanctions and the tariffs that were placed on India, I think, also brought Vladimir Putin to the table. But sort of whether or not a membership to NATO is on the table, the deciders of that ultimately is not Russia. The deciders of that are the 32 members of NATO who have to agree unanimously to admit anyone to membership. And there's a lot of steps along the way before that would ever happen. But at the same time, Russia doesn't have a vote on that that I can tell.
Russia doesn't have a vote on it, but Vladimir Putin certainly has an opinion on it. What are you hearing from your counterparts there about the notion of that being any part of these broader discussions, that being Ukrainian membership to NATO?
While we were at the NATO summit in The Hague a couple months ago, President Trump expressed publicly that he was taken by how much the European allies especially emphasized the Ukrainian conflict as important to their own security. And I think that kind of struck a chord with him. And I think he's been taking steps to end this war, but at the same time to make sure that Ukraine can defend itself. And that's why we announced the deal with the sale of U.S. equipment. But the Europeans are very seriously invested and interested in the outcome of this war, and they want to make sure that the deal, if done, is fair to Ukraine, especially who was invaded by Russia. But at the same time, it's a deal that both sides can agree to. And my European allies here at NATO have a very keen interest in this war. They're paying close attention, and a lot of them are writing checks to support Ukraine in many different ways.
Can I ask you a fundamental question? Does President Trump believe that he can trust Vladimir Putin?
Again, I think it's Ronald Reagan taught us you have to trust but verify. And so I think in any situation with competing national interests, whether it's the United States, Ukraine, Russia, or any of our allies, you just can't take people at their face value. You're going to look at actions. And I think that's one of the things that President Trump has mentioned, is that he would have a good conversation with Vladimir Putin. And then that night, rockets and drones would attack the major cities in Ukraine, and so it's going to be about actions. Words are cheap, but in this case, whether it's the Russians or the Ukrainians, both sides are going to have to take the actions to have peace and to continue to honor that peace. And I pay very close attention to a lot of the conflicts around the world, and in each case where President Trump has come in and help negotiate a resolution of it, it has been a verification that the hostilities have concluded. And whether it's India, Pakistan, whether it's the Congo and Rwanda, or all the other peace deals that President Trump has been able to negotiate, there's always a verification. You cannot just completely trust words on a sheet of paper. But right now, we're in the talking phase. And that's, I think, where we need to start having the technical experts on both sides actually putting a peace deal on paper. And I think this Friday could be an important step to get that done.
Certainly will be the test of all tests, certainly up to this point. Matthew Whitaker, U.S. Ambassador to NATO, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.